All right, everybody, welcome back. Another Bitcoin analysis. Today is Monday. It's February 10th. It's about 1 o'clock here on the Eastern Coast. Let's go ahead and get right into the Bitcoin analysis. I want to do some fib analysis today just to show you guys what my predictions are for the rest of the week and maybe a little bit beyond that. So let's go ahead and get into it right after a word from our sponsor. Want to get trading like I do on a trustworthy exchange that actually cares about what their customers' opinions and feedback is? Look no further. DueDEX is a new exchange that prides themselves in putting their users first, and they are very upfront about everything that they do. They are quoted in saying it's all about being fair to our customers and creating that level of playing field for our traders. Sign up below with the link in our description and you can get up to a $110 trading bonus with qualifying deposit. What are you waiting for? If you're watching all of our analysis videos and tutorials, isn't it time to put your own skills and knowledge to the test? All right, guys, so our weekly closed out as another very, very bullish candle. However, you can see that we didn't have a wick up, so we didn't really have more of a push to this upside. I've had all of these support and resistance lines drawn for quite some time, and we actually didn't even try to make a push past that. Now, on our weekly open so far, we did get a little tiny wick that kind of pushed up into that zone, but it's really nothing that I'm too worried about as of right now. Indicators are still looking, for the most part, pretty flat. It looks like we might be coming in here for a cross on the MACD, but honestly, it's going to take, at least a couple more weeks for this to play out because it's such a larger time frame. So I normally just use price action on these larger time frames, especially like the weekly and the monthly charts and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and work our way down into the day chart. Now, this whole situation here, the reason why I'm keeping this count and I have our wave 5 up here, I'm keeping this count for now. However, I'm thinking that I might end up changing this because I've been looking at this structure right here very closely for a while now, and I cannot pull, even on these lower time frames, it's very, very difficult to pull a 5-wave sequence out of this wave 1. So I'm thinking that I'm probably going to end up redoing my bullish count, and this entire thing is going to be a corrective structure, and that this was actually our wave 1. So I'll explain why here in just a minute as I work down to the lower time frames. I want to keep this analysis really short and start making these about 10 minutes, no more than 15 minutes. I know that most of the analysis videos have been like between 16 and 20 minutes. It's a lot to watch, so I'm going to cut them down a little bit and just kind of give you guys a bare bones understanding of what I'm looking at. Taking a look at Ichimoku here on our daily chart, and I'll bring up the rest of the indicators as well. You can see that we're constantly climbing higher here. We did have a little dip, obviously, with the price action that made the momentum come down. We didn't even test the midpoint of this, so this is still pretty bullish for me. We haven't even gotten close to the 80 mark yet, just about 78 or 80. This indicator can go all the way up to 100, so there's definitely room for more upside here. We actually got support on our 0 line on our MACD and had another bullish cross. We basically used support here in this major support area, and then we came back upwards. So once we broke above this cloud, this was pretty much confirmation right here, to start getting into a long position. Normally I wait for retraces. That would have been a really good area. This is where we got in our Discord, for the Aedge Discord. This is where we got in between 83 and 8400, and we've been riding it ever since. We've been taking profits at some of our targets, and we had about 8 targets laddered all throughout this. So it's been going really well. We still have that long position open for now because there isn't really confirmation of any kind of trend reversal here yet, especially with our moving averages, right? So with our 200 moving average, it's actually crossed below, which is bullish, our 100 and our 50, and that only just happened a couple days ago, like 3 or 4 days ago, right? So this is a really good sign here for an extended trend reversal, especially since we had this dip down. They all crossed over, and now they're all crossing back over to being bullish. Now, obviously on the all right, sorry about that. I had to change the visibility on my fib measurements. For some reason, the 12-hour chart was deselected. So I want to do some fib measurements. I didn't really do too much fib measurement in my last video, so I want to keep it short and sweet. And here's what I want to do. Normally, retracements and corrections are really big on hitting golden pockets, especially extended corrections, right? So if you measure this little pop that we had, we retraced perfectly into the golden pocket. That's what really leads me to think that this entire structure here was pretty much just an extended correction and that this is our wave one. Now, what leads me to further think that is that if this was our wave one, we came all the way up, we retraced. Well, what level did we use here? Our 382, right? Well, that's pretty significant because normally on retraces for waves 2 and 4 of impulses, normally you're going to retrace somewhere between 382 and 0.5. Obviously that translates to 38.2 and 50%. So we retraced here, we used our 382 as support, and now on this next move, if you measure from here, what's happening is currently we're using our 236 as support. However, if you measure from this bottom, we're right at that 382 level. So I think that this is a couple things. I think that a lot of this has to do with algo traders, and the algos are kind of fighting, pulling it up, to hit their targets, pulling it back down to hit the other targets on the other side. And that's kind of been happening all throughout here. Now, one that I didn't measure, and I don't think I have measured this yet. Yeah, so on this move, this was another 382 hit. So from here to here, this was 382. From here to here, this is 382. From here to here, this is 382. So that's been very consistent throughout this entire move here. So if this is our wave one, where we had something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is an ABC into a 2, and then continuing our way further up. I'm going to be going over and modifying that count as soon as I get time. Elliott waves and stuff like that, with all the measuring and stuff, it does take a little bit of time to do. So I'm going to be going over that next time. However, I thought that it was really interesting that all of those measurements hold true to the 382. So funny enough, 8800 right now is actually our 382 here, and then down here, this is our golden pocket where we had this major support resistance flip. So I know that I'm going a little fast here. If you guys aren't familiar with Fibonacci measurements and Fibonacci analysis, we do have resources in our Discord for that as well, and we're going to be doing another promotion soon to open up the Discord for free so that you guys can have access to some of the books and the PDFs and stuff that we have in there as well. So that's always good. Check out that on our Twitter. Make sure you're following us on there, by the way, as well as our YouTube. Make sure that you're liking and subscribing to the videos so that you guys can get all the updates for this. So with all of that said, I think that in the long term here, what we're probably going to end up seeing is if 382 breaks, then obviously we would probably see a golden pocket retracement, which is right around, let me measure this one more time. Yeah, it's right around 9,500. So for a continued bull market, I would love to see support held here at about $9,500. And for a continuation of this bull run, this is where I'm going to be laddering my second round of longs, because there's really not too much that says that, hey, there's no signs of this actually having a trend change yet. This is a very strong bullish momentum on this 12-hour chart. Every time that we've corrected, it's been just enough for us to be able to come up more in terms of the indicators. And normally in bull markets, everybody knows this is, yeah, sure, we've got this, this bearish divergence here on the MACD, right, where we've got a lower high, but we've got a higher high in price here. That happens all the time in bullish markets, but unfortunately, Bitcoin is so volatile and it's really manipulated, and for lack of a better term, it's pretty low liquidity compared to like stocks and commodities and forex and things like that. That's why it can be manipulated. Bitcoin doesn't really care about divergences and stuff that much on these higher time frames. It just really doesn't care. On the lower time frames, people trade those. I trade those. I scalp those and stuff like that. But even up here on our RSI indicator, you can see that we actually didn't get the bullish divergence up here, or the bearish divergence up here on our RSI. We're getting higher highs, and we're getting higher highs in price. So that's confluent. That's good. That means it's a pretty strong uptrend. And I think that If we do see a further retrace, I think we'll come down to about this 55 mark. That's normally a good spot of support and resistance on the RSI. Normally we use 55 or 56 as a good support level, and then if it breaks down further than that, that's normally what would be a good confirmation of a like a trend change or something like that. I think that this is probably the count that I'm going to be going with now for the bulls. Unless we start seeing, like a really heavy trend reversal here, we lose our golden pocket and we start coming deeper, past $9,100. That would definitely be a trend reversal in my opinion. So I'm going to be watching these very closely. I hope that you guys can join us on Monday for our next analysis. And that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. So make sure, again, that you are liking and subscribing to our YouTube and following us on our Twitter page. Until Monday, happy trading.